Amber TV, and it is time for us to get into our program, our Amber history. Yes, our Amber history. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are getting on with our Amber history, and this history, as I will be bringing to you very shortly, is history that you need to know. We have been on current events, we have been on civics, and we have been on so many other things, but our history is what we want to get into now. And our Amber history is very, very unique because it is the history that many people don't have. So we are very unique. Before I greet the people, I just want you to listen to this beautiful assurance that we have. And I'm calling no other person but my companion into this program, Reverend Sama, to tell us about our Father who loves us and knows our name. Over to you, my Reverend.
Father, you know me, you know my name. Abba Father, you know me, you know my name. Abba Father, you know me, you know my name. You know my name, oh Daddy. You know me, you know my name. I can see your hand in my life. Lord, I see your love upon me. Every time I look around, now you are the see. Every time I turn around, now you are the view. I dey hear your voice in my heart. Lord, I feel your love over me. Every time I look around, now you are the see. Every time I turn around, now you are the pillow. Abba Father, you know my name. Papa, you know me. Yelele, 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 yelele. Yelele, 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 yelele. Yeah, yeah. Jesus, your love, now oh. My master, your kindness, now wonder oh. Every time I look around, now you are the sea. Every time I turn around, now you are the view. Jesus, you said I be a picking, no. Jesus, you said your love go cover me. Every time I look around, now you are the sea. Every time I look around, now you are the pillow. Abba Father, you know me, you know my name. Abba Father, yeah. You know me, you know my name. Papa, you know my name, oh. Abba Father, yeah. You know me, you know my name. Yelele,
production at
Eh, eh, eh. Oh, oh, oh. Eh, eh, eh. Eh, eh. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, oh. This time, oh, now Jesus the reign. Ireno, Irene, Ireno, Ireno, Iren, Ireno, Ireno. This time, oh, now Jesus the reign. Even for time for trouble, now Jesus the reign. Ireno, Irene, Ireno, oh, oh, oh. This time, oh, now Jesus the reign. Irene, Ireno, I dey see trouble for every corner, oh. I dey see sickness for every country of the world. I dey see fear for many faces, oh. Ooh, yeah, 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 yeah. Jesus says, I am the way, I am the truth, I am the life. Ireno, oh, oh, oh. This time, oh, now Jesus the reign. Irene, yeah, yeah. Irengo, 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 Irengo. This time, oh, now Jesus, Irengo. I have a story to tell the world. I have a story to tell the world. I was long forgotten in sin. Tradition took me, the world swallowed me. I have a story to tell the world. I have a story to tell the world. This is my story, please listen carefully. One day I met a lady. She told me that Jesus died for me. He shed his blood and he loves me. He's calling me, his light is shining. Will shine in my darkness. Will shine in my darkness. I answered the lady, I said, since I was born, I heard that same story. Have you seen him? Have you touched him? Have you met him? And where is he? After many words of argument all day, I saw my sin, I was ashamed. I surrender to the Savior. I surrender to the Redeemer. What about you? He's calling you. What about you? Jesus is calling you. Everybody, everybody sing. Everybody sing. Amen. Sing and give glory to the Most High God. Everybody sing. Everybody sing. Amen. The Rock of Ages. He reigns, he reigns, he reigns. He reigns, he reigns, he reigns. Many years have gone, I'm a new man. Many years have gone, I'm a free man. I turn around and say thank you. I say thank you. Many years have gone, I'm a new man. Many years have gone, I'm a free man. I turn around and say thank you. I say thank you. Everybody sing. Everybody sing. Amen. He reigns, he reigns.
Thank you very much, Reverend, for coming in again to grace and to let the Ambazonian people know that our history, even though it is still in construction now, but it has existed before. And we have people like you who have contributed and are a part and parcel of the Amba history. While I'm waiting for our resource person who is going to be with us in a short while, in the person of Mr. Jutanga, I would like to greet the people of Ambazonia, 21 gun salutes to all the ARFs who are standing strong and firm in Ambazonia, letting the oppressor know that he is illegal and that every and any illegal thing or person who is a person but is behaving like a thing, like an animal, this is not an insult, this is just a description, that such a person has no legal right to live in Ambazonia. So I want to let Ambazonians know that Joe is coming in. One moment.
He reigns, he reigns, he reigns. He reigns, he reigns, he reigns. He reigns, 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 he reigns. Everybody sing. Everybody sing. You are worthy, loving God. Everybody sing. Give you glory, give you honor. You are worthy in time of need. Everybody sing. Everybody sing. I see your light.
Thank you very much once again, Reverend. Your story is so powerful that I wish every Ambazonia could have gotten into it. I think we'll have a better land and a better place. You see, when you don't know what you are missing, you wouldn't have the desire to go back there. I know what I'm missing in Ambazonia because I was there. I just saw the tip of the iceberg and I desire to be there. And I wish you too will desire to be there. I want to encourage all the ARFs back home, don't give up. The people and the places they call green pastures and they call bush, they had this similar situation. They fought, people died, people suffered, but today their children are reaping and strangers are benefiting. You are doing a great job. You are paying a big price. La Republic must get out of Ambazonia. We have never signed any contract with them. And even if we did, they know that they signed a contract with a juju man, an agent of darkness, who buried a horse in their headquarters in Yaoundé. And after 50 years, it expired. But we did not sign any contract with them. So ours has long expired. But the point is, we were children. Children in thinking. Children in reclaiming our rightful position. I read in a history book that when a child is still a child and he has inherited the property of the father, as long as he's a child, he has people who are in control. And these people who are in control can will him at any time and anywhere, and he has nothing to say. Neither does he have anything to offer. But when he comes to age, those who were his bosses, who were actually his servants, he will take the rightful position. Ambazonia has come to age where they have discovered and they have taken their rightful position. We are building for ourselves who are alive and for our children and children's children yet unborn. So we must go ahead and do it. I read a history book that says that the parents ought to lay up for their children, meaning that the parents ought to build for their children and not the children building for their parents. But there are some wicked parents who will not want to do anything for their children. And that's why, from generation to generation, they remain where they are because they refuse to build for their children. Ambazonian, I doff my cap for all of you because you have caught the vision and you are building for your children. I know there are people around who are doing whatever they are doing. Go ahead and build. But we must not keep quiet. We must tell the world and tell fellow Ambazonians of the spoilers who have taken bribe and they are pretending and shouting Ambazonia, 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 and they are going nowhere. And there is no sign of action from such people. They've gotten into a game of our enemy. People fall or fell prey, became victims of the tricks. I don't think somebody will eat banana peels and throw on the road that he's to pass in the evening because he would definitely slide and fall there. You throw them in the bush. Our parents have fallen choco. Several years counting. But today, we, the young ones, who have heard of the stories of the treatment and malhandling and destruction of our homeland and our people by the Republic of Cameroon, yet we are still buying their lies. I saw what they are doing in Komba Ekonotiti Road, just painting the road through some charcoal or whatever there, and then they bring some paint. That's not tarring the road. Ambazonia had roads that were better than that. 24/7 and 12 years of the month, 365, 66 days of the year, the roads were pliable at any moment. That deceit that they have come to deceive Mmen people and they are accepting, that's another divide and rule tactics to make the people of the Mmen County to be jubilating and start looking at the people of the Manfe County to be jealous and fight start between them. That is the method of La Republic of Cameroon. We have been singing it, we are singing it, I will continue to sing it. If you want your people to be free, don't buy into the lie of La Republic of Cameroon. That thing they are doing there is just to deceive you, Ambazonians. Up the game. Tell them to leave your land. And once you speak, there will be a backing from the owner of that land. They call him God Almighty, who does not allow oppression, who does not allow people to torment. They will opt out. But if you see it like, oh, the people of this place are jealous because we are doing this, you have missed the point. That's how they came in West Cameroon, British Southern Cameroons, and saw that we were intellectuals, we could construct, we had the best engineers, we had the best brain, because there is so much that God has buried underneath in our homeland for us to exploit and keep our people not going out of the country. They decided to make it in such a way that we should be divided. They say northwest, southwest. And that evil spirit got into some people and they started calling their brothers, come and go, or whether come, no go. I want to tell you, even at that stage, you have never seen somebody from their so-called northwest or southwest at gunpoint killing one another. You've not seen that because they know they are brothers. But these criminals, to prove to you and to prove to the world that they were never Ambazonians or Southern Cameroonians, were never the same country, they picked up arms. They did not only kill us, but they went ahead, burnt down our villages, and went ahead, bought our lands or took over our lands. Our funds, our chiefs were the custodians of land. Gradually, they came in, brought in the Bulu, Fang Betty criminals, and make them chef de terre, which means chief of the land. How can a stranger, in fact, even God will frown at that a visitor came to visit you, like the pineapple, they call it pineapple in Pidgin, but it's actually the proverb that I heard when a man after God's heart did that which was wrong. God sent somebody, go to him, tell him that there was a shepherd. He had just 2 sheep, in fact 1, and he was going to sell it to have something to cover himself. But somebody who had so many killed that man and took his sheep. Wow. The king was mad. He said, justice must be done. Justice must be done. But before justice was done, the man had died. So where was justice going to be done? That's another story. What I'm saying is that La République came in through France to make sure that they eliminate us. I will not forget, and I will not stop telling the story because that is our amber history. Yes, I will not stop telling it. When Mitterrand or Jacques Chirac visited Ahidjo, I told him that the process was too slow. Ahidjo immediately used the birthday of the wife and passed a decree saying that we are now united. And when that happened, since we are now like one, had one property, they came in and destroyed everything that we had. Took away the caterpillars of PWD or Public Works Department. Yes, took away all the caterpillars that were bought by the councils of the West Cameroon. Took away the farms of West Cameroon, the Nduti estate that made a name in the entire world, found themselves into the Commonwealth as a result of the West Cameroon, that they pretended that they have united with them, destroyed every infrastructure, Power Cam, Chico Airport, Bisoaban Airport, marketing board, everything, they took it away. And when that was done, they knew that we are beggarly and we are now poor. We cannot stand. They started their draconian rule on us and started killing us little by little. They first killed our Prime Minister, His Excellency Dr. Gumjua. They killed him. They brought in a stooge whom they had introduced into Freemason, into Amok Society, of which the pastor of the church that this man was attending told him straight that you cannot be a Rosicrucian, a member of this church. Thank God for Bame Bame. And what happened? The man disappeared. And that was the end. Again, let's go, Ambazonians. Listen to this story.
I have a story to tell the world. I have a story to tell the world. I was long forgotten in sin. Tradition took me, the world swallowed me. I have a story to tell the world. I have a story to tell the world. This is my story, please listen carefully. One day I met a lady. She told me that Jesus died for me. He shed his blood and he loves me. He's calling me, his light is shining. Will shine in my darkness. Will shine in my darkness. I answered the lady, I said, since I was born, I heard that same story. Have you seen him? Have you touched him? Have you met him? And where is he? Hey! After many words of argument all day, I saw my sin, I was ashamed. I surrender to the Savior. I surrender to the Redeemer. What about you? He's calling you. What about you? Jesus is calling you. Everybody, everybody sing. Everybody sing. Sing, sing and give glory to the Most High God. Everybody sing. Everybody sing. Sing.
Yes, I have a story, and this story is very sweet but pathetic. And so La Republique gradually, after playing a fast game on us, dismantled everything. And when they saw that we were handicapped, they started riding us as wild horses. After they had used Muna and he was dismissed from his faith by a human being, I don't know how God will look at it. But then they continue their exploitation. But fortunately enough, before Muna passed away, he asked God for forgiveness and he asked the people of Ambazonia to forgive him. That's what I heard. Yeah, that's what I heard. I've not actually read it. And as a historian, I told you I'd tell the good part of stories. I don't like this terrible part of stories. La Republique had signed a pact. I don't know whether it was with blood or it was just ordinary, with France, to keep the people of La République du Cameroon in perpetual and permanent poverty. That's why they could not allow any man to rise up, set up industries, employ the people of of La République to work with them. Unfortunately, in Ambazonia, West Cameroon, I remember as a school kid, during holidays, I would go and pick coffee. I remember one time, I don't know whether it was Ahijo or Paul Bia, yeah, that came and deceived our people and they cut down their coffee, destroyed coffee, and planted something else. But that is what was bringing in income for the people of West Cameroon. La Republic was jealous. My dear friend, our resource person is in the house, in the person of Mr. Chutanga, and I would like to cross over to him. I have a few questions for him to tell the Ambazonian people what he thinks. Because as we are going ahead with this revolution, we are already in our homeland, but something is happening. So, Mr. Jutanga, you're welcome into the studios of ABC, I would just like you to, yeah, would just like you to speak to the people of Ambazonia, greet the people of Ambazonia, and we can now pick up from there to go. I will advise the light you have put on behind, put it off. That's good. All right. Thank you very much. It's better. It's much better now.
Yeah.
All right. So over to you, sir, to greet the people of Amazonia, and then we go up. There is a shed in front of you. I don't know what that is. If there is a light in front of you, I don't know what it is. It's really disturbing. Your face is not clear. It's better now. Yeah, it's better. Good. All right, sir.
Well, I, as usual, I am happy to be here to discussions with our people back home and around. It's a new day, and we hope we can think together and know how to continue with this fight until we achieve what we are looking for, which is victory, which is reaching Boya and having our own country apart from La République du Cameroon. So yes, I
Thank you
am
very much.
ready to. Mhm.
Yes. Can I go ahead now?
Yes. Go ahead.
Yes. Um, Listening to you as a father, as an elderly person of the West Cameroon origin, I can hear in the sound of your voice that if you were to tell the story of Ambazonia, of West Cameroon to the Ambazonian people today, you will absolutely sign 100% and solicitate that we should go back to the state in which we were in 1959, 1960, and the early part of 61. What do you say about that?
Oh yes, I would certainly want us to be our own country, our own people. So we take our own destiny into our hands and run our country rather than go and say we have become one with another country that's treating us as second class citizens. That's not fair, and we should not allow it to happen.
Thank you very much. I hope Ambazonians are listening. Uh, I heard a deep tongue, or what they say, a proverb, that what an elderly person can sit down and see, if a youth will climb the tallest tree or the tallest mountain, he will not be able to see. You have heard he was in the West Cameroon, transcend into the fake union they call La République du Cameroon, went into the fake platform they call United Republic of Cameroon, and after they had successfully derooted us from everything that we had, we are left in the blues and in the wilderness. And from what he is saying, it was better at that time than today. And so his positive answer, yes, let's get back, is a thing to think about. So you, the youths who are sitting docile because you grew up in darkness, this history to enlighten you, to make you know where we are coming from and what you are missing, which you don't know. You want to get back to where you are missing. All right. Now, the first question I want to ask you, my elder brother, what do you think of this revolution and the silence of the seemingly silence of the United Nations African Union, and other world entities that in this 21st century, especially in the Never Again 1994 statement by United Nations concerning Rwanda, and now the genocide is going on, and there is this seemingly silence. What can you tell us about it?
Well, uh, we should know that the world organizations don't treat some of their member countries as equals. They they have some kind of uh, double standards. They don't treat us as they would treat European countries. The war in Cameroon has been going on for more than 5 years now, uh, more than 6 years now, and yet nothing is being said around the world. Whereas the war in Ukraine, the war between Ukraine and Russia, when Russia invaded Ukraine, started only in February this year. So it's not yet even up to 1 year. Still have 3 months to go. It's been going on for 9 months. But every time you open your television or your radio, that's the first, if not the one story you hear about in international affairs is the war in Ukraine. That just shows you that they are interested. They want a solution, a fast solution in the war between Russia and Ukraine. And they just seem to be nonchalant about the war in Cameroon. It doesn't seem to affect the security of either the world or of the Central African region. To them, that doesn't matter. Yes, they are. We can accuse them of double standards for doing that. When there was an earlier war, when President Clinton was when Clinton was the president of the United States, and Yugoslavia was breaking up, there was a war over there, and America quickly intervened. Yeah, because Yugoslavia is a European country, and America, those who have power in America, are descendants of Europeans. So they thought they should do something quickly because their relatives they left behind in Europe might suffer, and so they quickly intervened. America went over there and started bombing, and they bombed the Chinese embassy, and so on and so forth. So again, there they intervene because that is a European country. They don't want Europeans to suffer and die. That's it. And then when it happens in Africa, this is not even the first war that has been going on for some time now in Africa. Uh, since I will not say in independence, since the Spanish left Spanish Sahara, which is a small territory between in the northwest of Africa. Between normally they are between uh, Morocco and Mauritania. When they started their own war of independence, to today they are still struggling, and you hardly hear about it. And Morocco has occupied the country completely. At some point, they shared the territory between Mauritania and Morocco. But at some point, Mauritania couldn't cope up because they were having their own internal problems. So they pulled out of that. And then Morocco continued and has occupied the whole place now. And they are not, they are not, the world bodies are not doing anything to help. Yeah, they have just left it like that, and those people are still struggling for their independence. They can't have anything. So again, there it's happening on the African continent, and the rest of the world doesn't care. They just let it happen. So that's what is happening in the case of Cameroon, especially as Cameroon has claimed that, I mean, the Republic of Cameroon has claimed that it uh, is an internal
issue.
crisis. They don't even want to call it a war. They call it a security crisis. That's how they call it. When they talk about the war, because it is a war, there are soldiers on one side and there are militia on the other side, and they are shooting guns and killing people. Yes, they don't call it a war, they call it a security crisis. And they say it should be left to them to resolve the problem. And that's why they are not intervening, because they don't really intervene in the internal affairs of a country, of a member country.
Thank you very much. I'll just make a comment and then I'll ask you the next question. Uh, People of Ambazonia and televiewers of Amber TV, we are actually here to talk about our Amber history. But our Amber history cannot go without reference to the history of the other people in the world.
Mhm.
He has just mentioned to us the Europeans and the Americans, they may want to call it superiority, but I want to say that these people are worse than animals because we are all humans, have the same blood running, and to claim superiority is to let the person who is less superior to you feel that he is a human, except they feel that they are the gods that created themselves as humans and created Africans as half humans, as subhumans per se. And unfortunately, the Africans themselves, like we saw in Rwanda, they got up in their rage and wickedness and slaughtered almost 1 million people
Mhm.
in 3 months. And we came to understand that everything was instigated by Europe because they have a double standard. And what is going on in Ambazonia now, of which France is standing at the forefront of it, trying to coerce other European and American and Asian countries to believe that it is an internal affair, of which it is not, because like they have differences as Europeans, as Asians and Americans, so also in Africa we have differences. And all these nations were given by God. I know most of them have overgrown and have outgrown God and they have become gods. But for your information, there is a judge and you shall pay for it. Now, let's go back to our uh, revolution. Comparatively to what is going on now in Ambazonia, what can you say about other revolutions that you have read or you have heard about in the world? I put in the world generally, but I actually want to limit it down to Africa. But you can your microphone is open. You can say and tell the Amazonians what you know of other revolutions like this.
Well, the revolutions generally they happen the way the one in Cameroon, the one between us and the Republic of Cameroon is happening, and the other countries are usually reluctant, as I have tried to explain. They're usually reluctant to intervene, so they just keep quiet and they let it go on. And it happened in Algeria when they were fighting for their independence, and France was not letting them go. There was a bush war, and it went on and on and on and on until one day the famous General de Gaulle uh, made a speech, and he made one famous short sentence in the speech. He said, "Je vous ai compris," which means "I have understood you." He was addressing the people of Algeria, and he told them he has understood them. And it was after that that the French understood that they would not be able to win the war, and from there on they started withdrawing, and that's how Algeria came to have their independence, and they are their own country today. We hear that today they have replaced the French language as an official language with they have replaced that with English. English becomes the second official language of Algeria, and the fact that they have put English, they have used the English language on their currency is making the French furious, mad. They are not happy about that. And when I read about that, what I tell myself is the French don't know how to let go when they are no longer, when something is no longer uh, their own. Yes, that's France's habit in Africa, all over. They don't want to let go. Uh, but luckily for Africa and the rest of the world, some other countries are beginning to criticize, even if not openly, but they're criticizing the French for this kind of attitude they are doing in Africa. They don't want to let go of what used to be theirs. They have lost control. It is no longer theirs. They have pretended to grant independence. Well, let's hold them to their word. You have given us independence. Leave us
Go.
alone.
Yeah.
That's all the Africans are asking. You should now abrogate all those accord de cooperation which are killing African countries.
Mhm.
Uh, they can't have the benefits of their resources because France is keeping as much as half of the proceeds of their foreign earnings. Another country is keeping that. So, where then is the independence? Where is the sovereignty that were granted to these countries? It is not there until France learns to let go of these countries.
Thank you. Africans are getting up as if they are waking up from dream, and that's very wonderful. Um, Ambazonia, this is your turn. You must do it. Somebody will go, a territory will be lost, But if you are a parent, like I told you in my introduction, I read a history book, and this history book says that the parents ought to lay up for the children and not the children building for the parents. So if you are a parent and you are anticipating having children to be free tomorrow, enjoy their homeland, this is the time. It is in your generation that you should build for those children. And building for those children is simply say you must fight La République and France out of the land. Because I've heard so many people say, we shall fight until the last man standing. Okay, that's for them. But we are going to fight until everybody in Bazonia is standing. And our children will inherit what we are fighting for. They shall not come into the bondage of France again through La République du Cameroon. Now, next question I want to ask you, sir, what do you advise? What advice do you give to the youth of Ambazonia who are seemingly very much absent in this fight? Only a few of them who are at home front, who are holding the home front, but majority of them who are in the diaspora, we hardly see them in contributions, in commenting, in talking. We see people who are, well, they are still youths, but for 40 years, 60 years, who are still talking. We are the ones that have just graduated and they are 18 years, up to 30 years. What advice would you give to them? Over to you, sir.
Well, I would say to all Amazonians, no matter their age, they should find one way or the other to contribute to this struggle, either by volunteering to join the militia that is leading the fight, or to contribute in other ways, like making financial contributions. There are some of them, especially those who are outside the country, like those who are in the northern hemisphere. They are in a position to make plenty of money, and they can use that money to make a difference in this struggle. If we are winning the war so far, it's because of the contributions which a few uh, of our people are making day after day, setting back some money to to make supplies available to our fighters, to our sick people. They buy medical supplies, they buy food, they give those who are refugees in other countries, and so on. So that's what has kept us going. And if we are going to win this war, we have to continue in that direction. And we would like uh, everybody to have their hands on deck for us um to go ahead. Yeah, until we achieve what is our goal, which is getting to Boya.
Thank you very much. Before we call it a date and a day with you on ABC, I will not ask you the question whether you will come back because definitely I'm sure you are available. You will come back and talk to the Ambazonian people again. But
Mm.
before we go, I have this last question that I would like you to answer after I've just made a comment. We discovered that this is my findings and history. Uh, just bear with me. We discovered that Ahijo, when he actually got Ambazonia into where we are, no, where we were, because we have taken a step out a little bit. History that's not written, that is verbal, it could be true, it could be false, but there is no smoke without fire. That he contacted an agent of darkness after being involved in the Freemason, the Rosicrucian, and so on. They had to turn that to black magic, and that black magic was to get all people in La République du Cameroon plus West Cameroon, whom they had just inculcated or taken at will subtly to be a part of their own land. He got this juju or these demonic powers to put them under subjugation. And they had a contract for 50 years. And that contract for 50 years, which I was told it started in 1966 and ended in 2016, because from that 1966 to 2016, you will agree with me that every uprising and any uprising that came up politically for the Amazonian people to get back to their state of being where they were was refuted with force, with brutality, and the people died down. But in 2016, when the powers expired, the consortium, meaning the teachers and the lawyers, where if you put all of them together, they form just a drop of water in the whole population of La Republic and Ambazonia at that time. They rose up and said no. And people like one of the chief leaders will be bold enough to say, on Monday, if schools go, we will know whether La Republic controls our land, Ambazonia, or Ambazonia controls its schools. And from that day till today, Ghost Town has been observed, because that demonic power that was blinding people, giving them fear and intimidation, was destroyed, or the covenant ended. There was no way to renew. Now, fast forward. After all the other groups came up, they finally resulted to, how do you call it? 2017, October 2017, they restored the government of Dr. Endele, Dr. Foncha, Dr. Gomjwa to that point. They restored it. And when it was restored, the interim government came into place. As the manner and modus operandi, the method of operation of La République du Cameroon and France is, they came in with their divide and rule, fragmentation, make them not to be powerful. And the interim government has had a taste of that divide and rule, of that frustration, but it is still standing and still going ahead, and it is actually flabbergasting and putting La République du Cameroon in a dismay situation, very surprised. Now, with all that fragmentation and the effort to bring down the interim government, that is the pilot of this particular revolution. Groups have come up, they say, let's go by governing council, let's go by war council, let's go by what, and it's not working. The interim government is still standing and doing things on the ground. At this juncture, what advice would you give the interim government in the execution of what they are doing? Over to you, sir.
The division between us is the Achilles heels in this our struggle, in this our revolution. If we did not have all the division we have, we might have been much closer to Boya, or if not, have reached Boya by now. But unfortunately, because we are divided, it makes it much more difficult for us to achieve our goals. I, I would I would advise the interim government to stay the course, because out of all the factions, out of all the divisions and interim governments, they are the most efficient ones. They are the most effective ones. They are the ones making Yaoundé to tremble. They are the ones Yaoundé has not yet been able to corrupt. They have tried everything, and uh, they have not succeeded to corrupt them. It turns out they are incorruptible, at least so far. So they should stay the course, and let's just keep on hoping that the others will see reason someday to say, as the French general said, "Je vous ai compris. I have understood you." So they will come back to the fold, and we will end this war as one and go back to Boya and reach Boya and go on from there. I
That
want to go
is,
back. Yes, go ahead.
go ahead. Go ahead, go ahead.
I want to go back to something I had said about the attitude of the French in Africa. About a week or two ago, we saw videos the of some people reported to be the French in Mali,
Mali.
or I think it was Mali. They were using
Yeah.
a front end loader to smash vehicles, pickup vehicles that are in good condition, running conditions. They were smashing them because they had been asked to leave the country. That's the attitude of France. As I said, they don't know how to let go of what doesn't belong to them anymore. They don't know. They're like kids. So they say, well, before we go, we will destroy everything we brought to your country. Okay. Are they going to return all the resources they have taken away from those African countries before now? No, they are not talking about that. But they are willing but to smash whatever they brought into that country. Cameroon is doing a similar thing in La Republic, in Amazonia. They're burning down our hospitals.
Right.
Kumba is gone. Manfe is gone. They are burning down our schools.
Yeah.
A job was burnt last week,
In a
I
Yobo job.
think. And yes, and they have burnt other schools in other places. They have burnt
Right.
schools in Kumba. Yeah. So they are behaving the same way. They know they are living, and they want to reduce us to zero. Yeah. This didn't start with Mali in the case of France. They did that in Indochina. They did that. They did that in Guinea, Guinea Conakry in 1958, when Sekou Touré and his people said no to France. We want total and real independence, not the one you are proposing to us. We want real independence. And General de Gaulle said, well, if you want independence, you will have it tomorrow. And they left. But before they left, in the same manner, they smashed everything they had brought into the country. They ripped off telephone lines from the walls, ripped them off. They took away pencils from their office. They didn't want to leave anything behind. They destroyed those things they couldn't take away. Just like we saw in those videos, those French people destroying those vehicles. They did that in 1958 in Guinea. So Cameroon too is doing it to us. They are copying it from them. They started burning houses a long time ago. They have burned more than 400 villages. They want us to be completely uh, everything to be completely destroyed before they leave because they
Yeah,
know they are
yeah.
living. They know they are living. Yeah. So I will still come back to my conclusion that the government should stay the course and continue. The people, the majority of the people are behind them, and we are our eye is on the prize, which is Boya,
Thank you.
and we will get there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Amazonians, you can hear from parents who want to leave an inheritance to their children. Pa would have been talking, oh, just let it and go, but he has made you to understand that the child of a crocodile cannot be a snake, even though they are seemingly looking as if they are from the same department. France does it very openly and people see it. La République, who is a replica of France, 6 years ago, they started destroying everything in Amazonia, even though they are not the ones who built it. I'm just talking 6 years ago because it became very visible when they thought that they were going to conquer us, subjugate us, and make us to forget where we are coming from, and then sit with them and become stooges and slaves until part do us die or death do us part from them. When they discover that we are resilient, we have gone back to our roots, we have seen our history, we are not going to stay as slaves when God has given us full bread on the table and not under the table. We are these wicked and evil people through La République du Cameroon started burning our houses, rip off our telephone lines. There was a control center in Bamenda connecting Manfe on the landline. They ripped everything off in Bamenda and gave it to the Chinese. If I have any exchange, we used to have what they call telephone exchange. It's another story I'm bringing for another day. To
Mhm.
let Ambazonians know that these people, their wickedness is from their belly. And you have tried to tame them to become human beings and live with us as other human beings. It has become impossible. And except you want to join them and stay in that mess of which they will not even allow you to stay, you do it at your own risk. We want to leave a heritage for our children, our children's children, and in our land. I will test of that milk of Ambazonia free again before we go. So I want to let the Ambazonians and you, the youth who are sitting on the fence, you are the brain boxes of today. You are not saying anything. You are sitting on the fence. You are trying to defend what you cannot defend. Those Ambazonians who stayed at home and said, La Republic, I have nothing to do with what is going on, they have been killed. Those who went out to fight, they have been killed. So before you are killed, make sure that you do something for your posterity. I read a story in one of the great history books of some 10 people who were sent out of a country because they were pronounced dirty. They were leopards. And they went and sat somewhere willing to die. But one of them got up and said, look, we know that these people who are fighting this other country, they may have food in their camp. We can go there and eat. If we eat, we can survive. If they kill us, it's the same thing like sitting down here and dying. So we'll not die as fools. and they went to that camp. Those of you who are reading this history I'm talking about, you know what I'm saying. Ambazonians, you who is sitting on the fence, you who says it doesn't concern me, you who say that that their thing, hold on, it will come to you tomorrow. That's not our prayer. But we in the interim government, we have stood to say that we'll fight to the end and Ambazonia must be free. To our brothers who have joined La Republique in their modus operandi, after we have told them the fragmentation, the game plan that they have, they came in, saw Ambazonians living as one man. They said Northwest, not Southwest. And then some of the ignorant and foolish people who did not know their game plan to destroy us, they started saying, come go, come go, come no go, and so on. But they discovered that Ambazonians continuously refuse to fight among themselves because they are brothers. And they came in now with the fight to fight us and let us know that they are not part of us. So when they started fighting us to make us know that we're not part of us, some Ambazonians who have been given a pieces of bread on the floor did not discover that, and they started joining them. We have discovered. Pa just said in the broadcast here that we should continue, the interim government should continue, so that those of you who have been deceived by this France politics of France, your eyes will be opened by our history, and you will come back to the house and we will walk into Boya together. France has failed because God has taken over the battle, and every trick and game plan that they had planned before, it has failed. So you are welcome back to the house. Our prayer is that your eyes should open, as Pa has said, and you will come back to the house. I will not conclude this by not letting Pa say his last words for today, and then we'll call it quit till another appointment with him. God bless Ambazonia. Pa, can you just greet the people, conclude, and then we'll call.
Well, you have just reminded me of a passage in the Holy Book which talks about the prodigal son. So let's take our brothers who have gone astray as prodigal sons, and at some point they will realize that they have to go back home, and when they get back home, their father, who they thought they would never see again, would still be there, and he would uh, ask for his best cow to be killed to celebrate the return of their lost son, this prodigal son. So Amazonia will remain open to all its sons and daughters who are to come back home, and we encourage them to come back and join the fold, and let's build one country that will be stronger where we are united instead of being divided. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much once again. Fellow Ambazonians, it is at this juncture that will end our Amba history for today. Remember what Pa has just told us from the Holy Book. As a father, the arms are open, and that's how the arms of the interim government is open. I told you that I did see and understand. Some of you went there because you had longer truth. Some of you went there by proxy. Some of you went there not knowing, and some of you went there knowingly. In all, there is a power that can deliver you, and that's the power that is setting Ambazonia free. Jump into the bus of Ambazonia, and you make it. God bless you. Don't go away. In a few minutes, Reverend Dr. Victor will be coming up with our Hour of Freedom. Hour of Freedom for Ambazonian people comes up every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Amber time. So I will treat you to some music and glow to your TV and wait for Reverend Dr. Victor and co to come up with the program Hour of Freedom. Don't forget, each time go back to your LGA, go back to your county, be belonging, get out from private militias so that what they have taken to sacrifice you will haunt them and they will go. They wanted you to die, they will die themselves or they pay back the price. Judas did not enjoy his money, so you cannot be a sacrificial lamb for their money. So jump out from private militia and go back to your LGA, go back to your county. Thank you very much once again. God bless the people of Ambazonia.
I have a story.